Hello, everybody. My name is Spoons Rattling, not Jaundice Plier, and it's Friday, and I don't have a video done, so we're busting out a tier list video. We're gonna do Chaos Space Marines, which is my second favorite faction, second only, of course, to my beloved Orcs. Let's get right into it. So first up, Abaddon the Despoiler. I don't play Black Legion, but I do like this model. I converted it a little bit, removing the Black Legion stuff. I think this model's great. I like the few options. His base is cool. All the details are super crisp. Just a great model overall. Obviously, he's going to go in S tier. Accursed Cultists. I do like these guys. They're one of the last units I don't own. It's them and most of the vehicles that I don't own. But I do like them. But I do worry that they might get a little samey if you run a huge horde of them. But then again, there are ways to circumvent that. Kit bashing, whatever it may be. We're probably going to put these guys in sort of middle of B tier by the end of this. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I have a slight cough. Chaos Bikers. Now, these guys are very old, and they go together like garbage. And even though I do like old Chaos Space Marine aesthetics, because I'm nostalgic for it, I can't, in good conscience, put these guys anything above D tier. They have no options except head or helmet, and that's not great. They're an old kit with none of the benefits that an old kit might have. Like the Orc Boys kit has all the options. These guys don't. They don't have even chain swords. So I really, as much as I like old Chaos Space Marines, this kit just does not do it. A Lord in Terminator armor. So this guy is listed twice. We're gonna rank these guys differently because the choices do matter. This, just the Lord build, I think isn't as interesting as the Sorcerer build, but it's still a Terminator from the last generation before the current one. So we're going to put him in B tier. The Monopose Chaos Lord, this guy isn't a model I particularly care for. This is another model I don't own purely because I don't play Black Legion and I don't really like it. I'd rather use Praetors or third-party models. Like I just got a third-party Alpha Legion model that I'm going to paint up for a video once the Chaos Codex gets announced. But this guy, we're going to put him in C tier. I think he's quite lame. The Chaos Sorcerer is a good model. I like the throwback with his backpack, but it's not a model I think of very often, and again, this is one that I just converted. We're going to put him in B tier, though. Now we're getting to some good stuff. Chaos Chosen. This is a great kit. Even though it only includes 5 guys, the posability, the models, the options, the weapons they include are all super cool. And I've been a supporter of the Accursed Weapons change for a while, since now I can equip my Chosen with whatever weapons I like without having to deal with bad rules. So this kit is absolutely going to go in S tier. Now the Sorcerer in Sorcerer in Terminator armor, I like significantly more than the Lord, even though they're technically the same kit. I'm just going to rank the options they have differently. And we're going to put this guy in low A tier, but there's nothing there. For now, he's going to be at the bottom of A tier. Chaos Cultist kit. I don't like this kit because it doesn't have the options. And I'm not a huge fan of this look for Chaos Cultists. It's just a personal thing, probably because I play Alpha Legion. It's not what I want my cultists to look like. So we're going to put these guys in C tier. Cypher. Cypher's a sick model. Sick model. I love the cape. I love the Frankenstein armor. The big sword is cool. Akimbo pistols is always cool. What's not to like, really? Really like this guy. Dark Apostle. Also a sick model. This guy's going to be going in A tier. I like the posing. I like the guy with the speaker for a face. I do wish he had a helmeted option, but that's not a big deal since the Chaos boxes tend to come with a lot of helmets. I have plenty spare. The Dark Commune. So the Dark Commune's sort of a command squad, and I'd say I like some of the models more than others, though it's definitely a good kit. We're probably going to put it around the Chaos, probably above the Accursed Cultists overall. I really like the Hallowed Blades, I think is what they're called, the guys that kind of look like Nazgul, and I like the Icon Bearer, and the Brain guy I like too. Actually, put them up in A tier. I really like these guys. Defiler. Now I know the Defiler is a relic of an older era of Demon Engine, but I love the Defiler. I want to get a couple because I'm pretty sure this is the last edition of this kit being in production. So we're probably going to put him probably around here. Like the Defiler to me is sort of quintessentially Chaos. I love the Crabwalker look. The Electro Scourge looks bad, I admit that, but the rest of the kit I think still looks great, if a little boxy. Demon Prince. This is a fantastic model. Awesome reimagining of the classic 2003 Demon Prince, and a much needed update on the really crappy 2010 Demon Prince. This configuration of the Demon Prince, not as big a fan of. I've never been the biggest fan of winged Demon Princes. Mine are all on foot, and this guy doesn't change much for that. We'll put him in A tier, though, because he's still such a great kit. Probably right behind the Dark Apostle for now. So this is the Exalted Champion, if I'm not mistaken, because it's Aspiring Champions. Yeah, he's Exalted Champion. He's a resin fine cast model. It's not sold by GW anymore. It's a fine model. It's from Dark Vengeance, or it's in the style of Dark Vengeance, where is modern. Where, if you don't know, if you're newer to the faction, that's where Chaos Space Marines got their current aesthetic, was Dark Vengeance. So this guy is clearly very important. But the posing's not super interesting, and I think he's just fine. He's probably going to be in sort of middle of B tier. Fabius Bile. Fabius Bile is pimpin'. I love his pimp cane, his flesh coat, the what's it called? I feel like I should know this. It's like the spider's limbs or something like that. That is not what it's called, but don't roast me in the comments. Anyways, Fabius Bile, sick model. He's going to go right behind Cypher. Felgor Beastmen. Now, I know Beastmen have been a hot talking point recently, and they do have their dedicated fans, but I don't really like Beastmen that much. They're fine. Like, that's all they are. When they were revealed, I'm like, okay. Despite being the unique kill team, I think the Salvagers was a much cooler kill team to be revealed. These guys are going in D tier. The Forge Fiend, the sort of hunchback dinosaur robot with plasma guns or chain guns, if you are cool with it. Even though I think both weapon options are cool, I'm probably gonna put this guy in sort of middling A tier as well. I do quite like this guy, but I prefer the Mauler Fiend model wise. Harken World Claimer. This guy is interesting, honestly. I think he's a cool model. He's definitely got some. Because like he's not quite. I feel like he's still in between the modern Chaos Space Marines and where the Raptors came from, which was, I want to say, around Dark Vengeance. Yeah, because they're in the Dark Vengeance styling as well. But I think Harken looks good. I like Harken. We're gonna put him sort of around the Dark Apostle tier, though. He's not one of my favorites. Havocs. Now Havocs are cool. Chain cannons, cool. Las cannons, cool. Posing, pretty good. Big, beefy dudes. I like how their armor's a bit up-armored, and I think overall it's a great kit. Even though the rocket launcher and the las cannon sharing a pose is a little lame, it's no big deal. Definitely want to get some more Havocs. We're going to put them above the Defiler. Now the Hellbrute. If you're unaware, this is the one from, again, Dark Vengeance, which is a very important box for Chaos Space Marines. I like Hellbrutes. I think they're cool. I overall prefer just the look of box knots to Hellbrutes, but there's something to be said about Hellbrutes, and I definitely want to have a few in my army. We'll drop him maybe right here. Yeah, that feels right. The Helldrake. Now, the Helldrake is one of the better flyers in 40k, not rules-wise, keep in mind. Model-wise, I think the Helldrake's really cool, but my thing with flyers is they're often really unwieldy. They're huge. They're just ginormous. But the Helldrake's definitely cool. I'm going to put it around the Winged Demon Prince level. Oh, Huron Blackheart. Really cool character and lore. I love the Red Corsairs. They're a really cool warband, but he's one of the last resin kits, and I think his models always looked kind of ugly. So, who is the Land Raider? Land Raiders, top tier, no matter what faction they're in. Even the Custodes, because they just pinched it off the Loyalist Space Marines. The Land Raider, sick. I don't care if it's just, it's just a Land Raider with spikes on it. It's cool. It's got an old Space Marine gunner on top. I like it. We got the Legionaries. Legionaries, absolutely, I think bar none, are my favorite infantry in the game. I think model-wise, posing-wise, options-wise, I think they do it best. Better than anyone else, at least that I collect. These guys are going into S tier. Probably here, yeah. The Lord Discordant on Hellstalker. I do like the Lord Discordant. I'll probably put him near the Defiler. I kind of have similar feelings. I feel like when the Defiler gets updated, the Lord Discordant and him will look really sick next to each other. The Lord of Skulls, the Centaur of Khorne. I mean, I gotta put it in S tier, right? It's just so ridiculous and over the top that how could I not, really? It's such a cool model. Oh god, the ugliest model Chaos Space Marines have ever had. It's either this guy or the Jump Pack Lord, the resin one, which was it's a shame when he lost a data sheet, but it was not a shame to see that guy lose a model, because holy was that model hideous. But Lush just gives him a good run for his money and is by far the worst model in this range. Like, honestly, let me... Hold on, can I make another tier? Add row below and make it purple. Oh, I know. Well, maybe we'll keep this one as light green. And then we're going to make you purple for our beloved Emperor's Children. And this is going to be Fabius tier. I don't think... not Fabius, sorry. Lucius. They're both Emperor's Children, right? You can't get mad at me for confusing the two. Master of Executions. This is the model that I'm split on. Doesn't have a helmet, which is a bad start. The posing is fine. I think it fits the Executioner vibe. I like his weapon. The bone armor's cool. But I don't know. I've never been as big a fan as the Master of Executions as some other people, and that's why I run that third-party model I was telling you about. That guy's going to be my Master of Executions. We're probably going to put him in top tier there. I'm not going to say he's a bad model. He's just fairly mid, in my opinion. Mauler Fiend, my preferred of the two Dinobots. I love the Mauler Fiend. I love the, they're not Mechadendrites, but they're in the same family. It kind of reminds me of Doc Ock, so that's why I like it so much. Master of Possessions. He's got a pimpin' coat, he's got a sick cane, a cool helmet, and he's got fire. Like, he is awesome. He's so awesome, in fact, that I'm going to put him up here. Put this at the bottom of S tier, because, you know. Noctilith Crown is fine. I'm not the biggest, Noctilith... I'm not a huge fortifications guy in general, and I generally prefer fortifications that are something like a bunker, which doesn't have rules anymore. The old Imperial Stronghold, I think is what it was called. That big tower with the heavy bolters and the las cannon on top. That thing was fun in the past. But this thing... Nah. It's just background, that's all it is. The Pimpin' Noise Marine. Now this is a throwback to a model from the early 90s, or mid-90s, I believe, because it was after Chaos Renegades, but before 3rd edition Chaos Marines came around, is when this guy's progenitor came out. And this model's sick. I'm actually going to get one of these and paint it up for my friend, because he plays the guitar. Where does he go? Probably the top of A tier, honestly. Obliterators. I wish Obliterators had a full multi-part kit, because I really like one of them, and the other one I'm not as big a fan of. But they're still great models. Bar none. I think Chaos Space Marines are probably the best range in 40k in terms of model variety and quality. As you can see, there's nothing that's really... There's only a few models I'd consider bad in this range, and most of the rest I'm just middling on, or I'm not a huge fan of, and the Obliterators are going to go up next to the Havocs. Funny, the heavy weapon support end up next to each other. Ooh, the Possessed. I do like the Possessed quite a lot. They're probably my third favorite out of the elite choices. So for that, we're going to put them at the top of A tier. I do think these models are great. They're borderline S tier. No, they are S tier. They're going to be bottom of S tier, or just ahead of the Land Raider. I like the Possessed, but I prefer Chosen and I prefer Terminators, obviously. If you are new to the channel, you should get used to me glazing Terminators constantly. Chaos Predator. I love Predators. Phrasing. I love the battle tank chassis known as the Predator. The Predator with las cannons or an autocannon is a very cool vehicle. And he's going to go just behind, probably around here, actually. I definitely want to get a few of these. I am interested to see if they're going to update them and when they will. Raptors. Now, Raptors have been talked about a lot recently. People saying they need an update, but I don't necessarily disagree. While they're a little shorter than their contemporaries, I don't think it's that big a deal because of their aggressive posing and flight stands. And they're still in the current Chaos Space Marine styling. They are from the Dark Vengeance era. They're fine. Their details are crisp enough, but they're not my favorite infantry in terms of model wise. I'm probably gonna put them next to Harkin. You know, birds of a feather. Chaos Rhino. I mean, it's a rhino. There's not much more to say about it than that. Probably put it in like low B tier. It's just a rhino. Unlike the Land Raider, this thing doesn't. It has the Havoc launcher, but this thing has like special nozzles for its weapons and a custom gunner on top. That's a little low for the. No, that's right for the rhino, but maybe above this guy. Chaos Spawn. Another model I don't own because they're horrendously expensive. But they're fine. I think they do their job as just sort of background monsters. I don't feel strongly about them, so I'm probably going to put them in low C tier. Ooh, now we're to my bread and butter. My favorite unit in the Codex, in the Index, in the White Dwarf magazines, whatever it may be. It's always Terminators. These models have so much detail, great posing, awesome weapons. Again, they also benefit from accursed weapons. Now I can bring my cool power sword. I can bring my cool axe and not be punished for it. And I love all the helmets. I love the tusks. It's one of the things I wish Abaddon came with was a helmet with tusks. Because, I mean, you can't be a Chaos Terminator without the tusks. They're so cool. They're so cool. And I honestly don't think they need an update. They're a little smaller than the new Loyalist Marines, but they're also, in general, a bit more aggressively posed, so I don't really mind. And they're still beefy and big, so I'm not complaining. The Trader Guardsmen. I do like Trader Guardsmen. And in fact, I run Trader Guardsmen in my army. But it's not this kit. It's Wargames Atlantic and 3D printed models that I run in mine. But I still think these are great models. Probably at the top of B tier. I'm not a huge fan of the Trader Commissar model-wise. He kind of brings the whole thing down for me, honestly, but the Ogren and the squad is great. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. So if we're rating these guys differently, I'm probably going to bump these guys up to just above the Dark Commune, and these guys to, like, right here. Because the Chaos Ogren looks awesome, but the Trader Commissar isn't doing it for me. But we got Vashtor the Arcaphane, or as many people call him, Trash Tor, because his rules just consistently suck. Which, fair enough, he's probably waiting for his own army. But I think model-wise, he's really cool. Like, really, really cool. Probably in the mix with a lot of the demon engines, honestly. Like A tier. And to join him, the Venom Crawler. I like this guy, little spidery guy. I think he's pretty cool. I like the Excruciator cannons, and I like his rules, actually. But that's not super relevant, because, hey, remember, rules are temporary, but models are forever. That's why I stick by my Terminators. Whether they're ass or they're good, I play them. And that's the method you should stick to unless you're going to a tournament. Where do I want to put the Venom Crawler? Probably behind these guys. I like the Venom Crawler, but I don't like it more than any of the other demon engines. Chaos Vindicator. I mean, it's a Vindicator. It's a cool tank. I love the big shield. And it's going to go next to the Predator. Warpsmith. This guy's really cool. Real solid character. I'm going to put him next to his mounted buddy, but I'd say I probably prefer this guy. I like the Mechadendrites too much. They're just really... I like the Doc Ock aesthetic, okay? He's my favorite Spider-Man villain. Warp Talons. Now, this is one of the times where there's a dual build kit, and I think the dual build looks significantly worse than the normal build. Now, that is because... two reasons. I don't like the fins on their jetpacks, and I don't like the demon heads that they use. If they just use the normal helmets, they'd look so much better. And for that, they're going to the bottom of A tier, which is weird for a dual build kit. But hey, that's sometimes like what the options can do for something. Like I think the Warp Talons built as per instructions just look worse than normal Raptors. Plague Marines. Now, I think I've been a pretty vocal critic of the Death Guard aesthetic. And that's not going to change here. I don't really like the Death Guard aesthetic. The current Death Guard aesthetic. I think the Plague Marines are some of the better ones because they're not so over the top. But I just don't like the mouth stomachs and stuff like that. So these guys, they're going to go in C tier. Probably the top of it, though. Now, on the other hand, Rubric Marines, fire models. Some of my favorite troops in the game. And honestly, same for Khorne Berserkers. I think these guys look fantastic, and I'm going to throw them just behind the Thousand Suns. Yeah, I mean this is correct. Because remember, this is Warhammer and opinions don't exist. If you disagree with me, you're a liar, a heretic, and a mutant, and you need to be reported to your local Chaos official and or Imperium official, depending on which planet you live on. I've been Spoons Rattling. Bye.